Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Down for Jive. I am Scott Squires, and this is Janice Squires, and we decided to come on here on our Labor Day weekend. And it's not Memorial Day. I always get those two mixed up. I don't know why, but I always do. But we're glad to come live on this beautiful Sunday. Tomorrow it feels like a Saturday.
It does.
There's been a lot of stuff, a lot of activity as far as music, as far as sports. And so we thought we'd plus the weather has changed a little bit. You know, if it feels like it's becoming more fall.
Yep.
I thought it would be a hot Labor Day weekend, but it's not.
Man.
It's been a very comfortable as far as temperature wise, but not near as much fun to go swimming in.
No.
So. Anyway, we're glad to be here, and we got some stuff to talk about.
We do. It's been an amazing weekend so far. We had a blast at Rocklahoma. We'll get into a little bit of that here in just a minute. Like you said, the weather is rapidly changing, and I'm afraid that our swimming days for the year are probably coming to an end. So maybe we'll squeeze one more in there. We're hoping, but we haven't shut things down just yet. So. But yeah, it's been a really, really nice weekend, kind of a good mixture of rocking out and then just home stuff, doing some stuff here at the house and enjoying our time off from work. It's always such a treat to get those days off away from the daily grind. So we're enjoying it. And like you said, we're going to pretend like today's Saturday.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've been off since Thursday, getting ready for the Rocklahoma weekend. It was so it already feels like it's been a long weekend, which is good. And I still have another day to go, which is cool. And then the cool thing is Friday was just around the corner because you start the week at Tuesday.
That's right.
And the weekend will be here in no time. And then we have some NFL football coming Thursday night. So that's going to be fun. There's a lot of stuff, a lot of movements going on in the NFL, and so it always brings a lot of home entertainment if there's not shit to do in the around town or whatever. To be able to kick back and have something to watch, because I mean, as far as shows and TV shows and stuff like that, I just really have not much interest in stuff that's on TV.
Yeah, me too. I think the last show non-sports show that you and I got into was maybe Ozark.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah. Now I do like the documentaries that Netflix will put out, which I thought was really cool. Was the Dallas Cowboys one that they just put out. I was a big fan of the Chicago Bulls one that they put out. Was called The Last Dance.
Yeah.
It was like a 10-part series. They're each about an hour long, and we got through the Dallas Cowboys one and within 2 days. And it was highly entertaining. I love when they build up stuff that has all the old school stuff, but they put a modern twist to it, and filters, and it just looks more like you're just part of it. Yeah, very up to date, and a lot of drama and stuff going on in the documentary and everything, and a lot of build up, and it was a lot of fun. It was cool to rehash and reminisce a lot of that stuff in the glory days. I remember all that stuff to a T.
Yeah.
And so it's always kind of cool to go back in time and relive some of that stuff. It's always cool. There's a lot of documentaries I love, and not just the teams I enjoy and I watch. Man, I like the 30 by 30s. Those
30 for 30.
30 for 30s.
Yeah.
Those are always fun to watch. And one of my favorites was the Michigan, the Fab Five.
Oh, so good. I cry when I watch that.
It's always the ending, like the songs that they
music.
put out, and it builds up this
drama.
Kind of like you're in a time machine, and you're watching all this stuff unfold, and it's just really cool. So I love documentaries, like especially really well ones, and sports, music, whatever. Those are always fun.
So I'm going to ask you a hard question. It's like picking your favorite baby. If you had to pick between the two documentaries, The Last Dance and The Gambler, which one? Let me ask you a two-part question. Which one do you think was better done, and then which one's your favorite?
tough question. I really think that the Cowboys one is probably a little. It was shorter, but only by like a couple hours.
Yeah.
But I thought it was really well done. Kind of gets you behind the scenes on Jerry. You know, Jerry's always the villain.
Yep.
With people.
Yep.
And I never thought of him that way. Now, when they lost to the Green Bay Packers and a couple of years ago in the playoffs, I was pretty much done. And I was like, you know what? This team's not going to change until that man passes away and we get someone new. We know he's never going to hire a general manager. He's never going to do all this stuff. And I was just done with it. But after watching the documentary, you kind of, you know, he knows his flaws. He knows, he's a gambler and he goes out and he does what he needs to do. But there's some soft sides to the guy, and
yes.
you can tell that there's reasons behind why he does a lot of the stuff that he does. He's not that big of a villain. He's done a lot of cool stuff. He can't be worth what he's worth with just being a dipshit.
Well, and as hated as he is, I think we've learned, watching the documentary, that he has been very instrumental in benefiting the NFL and all of the owners as a whole by bringing so much more money and advertising and marketing opportunities. I mean, it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and he has a lot to do with that, in my opinion. So, villain or not, I mean, he's not my favorite guy. I will say this: my heart has a softer spot for him after watching the documentary. I think, in some ways, maybe he's kind of a ugh. But then in some ways, I think he is misunderstood. And we'll get into that a little bit more when we start talking about the Micah Parsons trade. But, he definitely great documentaries. If you guys like documentaries, check out The Gambler.
So to answer your question, I need to watch it a couple more times because I watched the Last Dance, 3 or 4 times. Mm-hmm. And, each time I watch it, I got, I see new things but I'm going to watch it again full. And, but right now, I'm going to lean towards the Cowboys one. And I loved The Last Dance. I thought it was cool, but they were pissed off a lot of people in that one. And so, with Scottie Pippen thinking that, it was more of a Jordan documentary than it was an actual Bulls team documentary. But, you can say this is more, and there was a lot of things with it that was left out in that documentary. The line, they didn't talk about the line, the wall.
That was disappointing.
They didn't talk about a lot of the defense guys. Right. They didn't talk about Jay Novacek. A lot of people that weren't even mentioned, like Larry Allen, who was an extraordinary lineman. It wasn't even mentioned it. And of course, he sadly passed away. But there was a lot of missing pieces in that I was like kind of shocked that they didn't talk about. And, Darren Woodson, a guy off the defense, wasn't even mentioned.
Why. I wonder if we'll ever find out why.
I know. It's strange.
Have to dig around and see if there's some interviews out there. Well, as we said, we had just such an amazing time at Rocklahoma. Now, before we get into that, let's remind you guys, this is a much more laid back effort than Tulsa Music Stream. We just get on here when we want. But we still do hope to build it, so you guys can join in with us anytime we go on and chime in and be part of the conversation. Your input matters to us. You can watch us on Facebook for now. We will eventually be on YouTube as well. We're putting up the replays on YouTube now, but eventually we'll stream live over there as well. So check us out down For Jive on Facebook and YouTube. Let's see if Charlie's here. Yep, he's here. He's
ham sandwich.
He looks like a roly-poly, and that's okay. And you and I both lament about how terrible this bedspread looks. It looks pretty nasty with all the cat hair. Yeah. But without cat hair in your house, that means there's no cats, and that's a gap that my heart just can't handle. Yeah. So I'll take the cat hair. So let's go back and talk a little bit about our experience with Rocklahoma, and I'm going to put up some pictures. It was really honestly more than we could have asked for as far as turnout, response. The crowd was incredible. I mean, this is a Thursday night. I'm going to scroll through some of these pictures. This is a Thursday night pre-party crowd. And, you know, just, I mean, we had such a great time performing. You know, it's one of those deals where you anticipate it for months and then it's just gone in a flash.
Yeah.
But share a little bit about some of your thoughts and experiences.
You know, you plan for the day. You know, you make sure you have all your stuff. You don't want to forget anything because it's a long drive, and once you're out there, you're kind of stuck there for a while. You know, so you build it all up in your head, like you said, and then you go through it and it's over in a flash. I thought getting there and getting into our dressing room and everything and getting set up was really easy. It was kind of fun. It was kind of, you know, laid back. You get to watch and listen to all the other bands set up on the other stages and hear them. And so that was cool. And then getting dressed and stuff and waiting around for the other bands to get through before you go on. You know, of course, there's always, you know, this was the first year that they actually had the retrospect or the Renegade stage going on the pre-party night. So they had a lot of the main acts, the national acts on that stage. So there was a little bit of fear, at least from me, like, are people just going to camp out over there, and they're, you know, are they going to come over to our stage? You know, so there was always, I wonder what's going to happen type thing. So we were kind of the first band for people, because the first band started on that stage, and then it was Trickster and then us. So that was the moment I was waiting to see, well, are we going to get a good crowd over here? And, you know, shit, as soon as we started, man, it was like people started flooding it. And it was, like I said, it was the most energetic. They were very loud. They sung a lot. You know, almost like most of the songs that we played, they were just singing along to it. It was almost like I felt like, you know, you see like soccer teams or bands got playing in other countries, and they're all doing like they're like singing their songs or whatever. Yep. You can't even really hear the band, you know. Yeah. Like, you know, when we were doing Twisted Sister, We're Not Gonna Take It. It was so loud that they're singing everything, you know. And I always, you know, these type of festivals, you know, especially if you're going to do some covers, you know, do a lot of the ones that the crowds can sing along to. And they were just so loud. They knew all the words, and you know, and so I always like to pick out songs that are recognizable, and they're crowd pleasers, and they're sing-alongs, their chants, their theme, their anthems, right? Like Rock and Roll Night, you know, stuff like that. I always love to throw those out there. That way, the crowd can just have fun with it. There's no judging. It's just a party. Absolutely. There's no like cover band drama. There's none of that bullshit. It's just you're up there, and your job is to entertain them, give them a great show, let them have fun, let them feel like they're getting their money's worth. They're there to party. They're there to have fun. Let go of all their problems, and us, our job is to get them pumped up for the next band. Absolutely. And so I thought we did our part. You know, there was of course some, you know, sound glitches, whatever, and that crowd didn't seem to give one care, and we just kept just boom piling it through there, and so in the crowd, the energy we just fed off of it, and I was blown away. Me too. And you know, just so anyone watching understands, you know, why bands, and definitely us, I'm going to speak for us personally, why we post pictures like this. It's not to say look at us. It's to say, look at you. Look at how you came out in one of the biggest rock festivals in the country on a Thursday night. Look at how you came out and you supported. You know, guys, we're not delusional, man. We know we're in our 50s. We're playing music that's 20, 30, 40, 45 years old that we didn't write. There's no delusion about who and what we are. You know, when you're young, you want to make it. You want to make it big. And that's the dream.
then you hit that point in your life where you realize it's not going to happen for me. So your mindset, and I've really just grasped this very firmly over the last few years, your mindset becomes, you really realize who you are and what you're doing. We've been afforded an opportunity to, as he said, give people a good time. You know, our job is to give people a good time for, if it's a 45-minute set, if it's a 3-hour show, our job is to make sure the people who have made the effort to come out and watch us forget about all their problems for just a little bit, go back into memory lane, listen to the songs that meant something to them in their youth and even to this day still means something to them. So there's no arrogance, there's no delusion, there's no, again, this is look at what you did, guys. And we just want to say thank you to everyone who came out to Rocklahoma. And I really, really, really want to give a special thank you to Matt Gordon. You can barely see him in the back of this picture. He's in that little tent, and he was running front of house. And God love the guy. He was dying on the inside when these technical glitches were happening. It was out of his control. What happens is there's a lot of technical mumbo jumbo that I won't bore people with, but there were some Cat 5 cables that failed because of the weather, the moisture out there. So it was causing the PA to kind of intermittently drop in and out. But like Scott said, the crowd just carried the energy. They carried the songs. They would continue singing, and we just kept plowing through. But I appreciate Matt. I appreciate Ryder. I appreciate Alex, all the guys out there, the crew. I don't think people understand how hard these Rocklahoma, not just sound and stage, but the crew people that they have to make runs to the airport to pick up the artist and bring them out. And these people are operating on no sleep, and they're doing this for days on end. And it's just like a pressure-filled situation. And so for us to get an opportunity, and thank you, Doug Burgess, for another opportunity to play your stage. It's so precious, but it's so fleeting. It's like you get that moment where for 45 minutes you get to pretend like this is what it would have been like had I made it big. But the reality is it's here and gone in a flash. You're back to your normal life. You're back to your day job, and it's a wonderful memory. And so we just, again, when we put pictures up of the big crowds, it's to say, look what you did. And it's also to say to anybody who maybe comes across our social media, our website, and maybe maybe they haven't seen the band before, they're checking it out. When you see something like this, it's an indication of, hey, that band, that looks like a good time. I'm going to go out there and check those guys out. So, we don't post these things to toot our horn, because we freaking know who we are and where we're at in our life, and we do not get our self-worth.
Every band does that, though.
I'm
not sure why.
They do.
We don't have to apologize about
I'm not apologizing in any way, shape, or form. I'm explaining that sometimes I think people get rubbed the wrong way when they see bands posting pictures of big crowds. Oh. And I'm just saying it's really to brag on the crowd.
Yeah, every band does it, so I'm not too worried about it.
They
but
sure
you know
do.
What? That crowd, Rocklahoma, that I feel like the second stage is becoming more and more like the main stage.
It is.
The crowds at that second stage is getting huge, and yesterday's crowds were just packed, and there's so many bands that were just killing it on that stage. And then the main stage, of course, you got the big ones at night that just always kill it on the main stage. And there was a lot of bands that just did a lot, like Alice Cooper, The Darkness. Even on the Thursday, of course, Dee Snider wasn't there. Sebastian Bach was there. But Lita Ford, I even walked over to Lita Ford's, and there were just so many people over there on a Thursday. And I was like, holy shit.
Amazing.
So the bands that played yesterday, I mean, it was just slamming. Mm-hmm. And of course, Friday, too. A lot of bands. Hinder. The crowd for Hinder and Saliva, there was so many people over there. It was just incredible. And another thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about Rocklahoma was the fact that 3 Days Grace, they got Adam back in the band, which, was their badass singer, for all those hits in their early start of their career. And they went and got Matt from My Darkest Days, which does a fantastic job, and their voices really complement each other. But they decided to bring him back, but didn't let the other guy go. He's the brother to the bass player. My Darkest Days, they had that, porn dancing song, whatever, porno dancing.
Porn star dancing. Yeah.
But he's done a fantastic job as the front man for 3 Days Grace. So this was their way of just no drama, give the fans everything. It's like you get to see their whole career, their whole, everything, their whole catalog on that stage. And I guess one of the Matt will play rhythm guitar, while the other guy's singing, or they'll both kind of sing harmonies and stuff with one another and during the hits. Because I was like, well, is he just going to sing all of his songs and he's going to sing? But they kind of help each other out on both ends of the hits, and I just find that fascinating, especially today in today's rock business. It's like one guy always has to go, and there's drama, and there's fighting, and there's bickering, and this singer can't come back, or he's got to go. Like there's the egos and everything, and these guys just put all that aside and just said, "We're going to make this work." And,
it's refreshing,
and we're going to do it.
Yeah, I mean, life's so short, and it's sad, the state of the world now, and how. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and it's super unfortunate, but it just feels like, and I think COVID amplified it for whatever sad reason, but people just kind of don't get along anymore. They just kind of struggle to like each other and respect each other. And, man, I mean, life's short. If there's any way to bridge these gaps and not console, but reconcile is the word I'm looking for. That's sure the ideal thing. I know it's not always possible. Sometimes bridges just get burned too far, and there's nothing left but ashes, and you just have to go your separate ways. But by all means, man, reconcile when possible. And yeah, it's really neat to see the egos set aside and work it out where everybody gets their piece of the pie.
Yeah. And another thing is, like, I know there's so many bands on here that people just want to complain or bash on or whatever, but if the crowds are getting bigger and their tickets are being sold, it's a good thing. It's a good thing for the festival.
For everybody.
It's a good thing for everybody, including yourself, because that means the future of Rocklahoma is going to continue.
Yep.
And there's going to be more opportunities for a lot of your favorite bands.
That's right.
There's going to be opportunities for bands in the future, or the young guys that are still up and coming. There's a future for that, and there's a future for rock and roll as a whole, because there was a couple years I'm thinking, God, there's like, touring and everything has become expensive, and there's like, the attendance seems to be dropping. Is rock and roll dying? Is all this happening? And then you go out and you see these record-setting crowds. It to me, it's refreshing, and it's a positive thing. Even if there might be a band on the bill that you particularly don't like or you want to make fun of, but
it can't always be about you.
But right,
I mean, come on,
But they're bringing something to the table, and that's called money and ticket sales
and success
and success for the actual. I mean, it's always going to be a rock and roll festival. It might not be your brand of rock, but it's going to help the festival to survive.
Yeah, it's the same principle as, and not to go down the politics road, I'm just going to make this quick comment and then get out, but it's the same concept as you are willing to, you want the country to do bad so that the guy that you don't like that's in charge can get blamed for it. Any of us who think that, I don't care what politics side you're on, any of us who think that, shame on us. We should always want for America to do well and our people to do well. And like I said, man, get back to respecting each other. Get back to learning how to care and put yourself in someone else's shoes where you are empathetic to what they're going through. You know, we so often get wrapped up in our own little world, in our own problems, and nothing else matters. And that's when the world went to shit, y'all, is when it just, everybody, and again, here we are doing social media, but I blame social media, where everybody's making videos of themselves and it becomes all about themselves. And we got to get back to caring about each other and being empathetic and wanting success for everyone around us, because when everyone succeeds, rising tides lift all boats, right? Yeah. We're going to church today. It's Sunday. We're doing a sermon.
You have to understand, like someone like, look at the locals, you know, shout out to all the locals, One Night Stand, Dime Store Riot, and so many others.
Yes.
Of course, you also have, gosh, where are they?
I think Fist of Rage got to play.
Yeah, Fist of Rage, the good guys right there. But Paralandra, just a couple years ago, they were on the smaller stage, and now they're playing the main stage.
How about
so there's
that?
Growth to these types of festivals.
Yeah.
You know, if you work hard and you get out there and you push and you promote, and you do all the wonderful things, and you have people who will back in. Of course, you got to have the talent. Good things can happen for you, and so I appreciate that. You know, seeing people grow and.
Me too.
You know, do a lot of things. You know, success for everyone. Let's get it going, and it's so cool. And I just like also how they mix up a lot of the '80s and the new stuff. It's just like, you know, there's flavor for everyone. You know, tonight we got 311, Shine Down, and you got, you know, of course, Bruce Dickinson from Iron Maiden will be there.
Cool.
Flyleaf, The Struts, of Mice and Men, Tsunami, Barbarians of California. The Funeral Portrait, Wargasm UK, Mike Tramp, which is another 80s guy, of White Lion.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cool stuff for these festivals. And Dee Snider, he had to cancel, and Sebastian Bach filled in. But we wanted to make sure that we got in a Dee Snider song, and which I thought really was cool to do, and a lot of fun to at least go, hey, you know, we're going to at least do one of his big songs. So
yeah,
a lot of fun, and I hope everybody that have gone and enjoyed your time there, and got a lot of pictures and enjoyed your weekend. And cool,
for sure. Let's give shout out to some folks that are here in the chat with us today. Thank you guys for checking in. We got Richard Stazer, Gustavo, my friend from ABB. How you doing, buddy? Gene Matthews, Mom, Gay Fishback, Kristen House, Petia? Petia.
She works. She used to work.
I know. How you doing, hon? Melissa Berryhill, Catherine Allen. Richard says my old timers is kicking in, but you guys had a huge crowd and great crowd reception that was amazing back in 2015-16 maybe. It was a new addition to rock in a huge tent. I just loved how everybody took to you guys. You had an awesome show that night. Thank you, Richard. We have been privileged to play out there. Gosh. We were trying to count it up. I want to say somewhere between 7, 8, 9 times, whether it was with Down for Five or Rocket Science, and it's always a blessing and a privilege.
Yeah, I remember we played the main stage, and then like 2 years later, we were on a corporate tent on the campsite, and I couldn't find any pictures of that, but I believe that was like 2010, and it was either because 2000, well, it might have been 2009. Because I remember one year, that was when the Trickster was out there and the stages got
and it stormed so
blown
bad.
down.
Scary.
And some scary stuff. And I think we were supposed to play a campsite, but I think it got flooded and all this crap. So it was either 2009 or 2010 that we played this corporate tent out in the campgrounds like at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
so
that was brutal.
That was pretty wild. I remember that. And then we played the Camp Jaeger one year, and it was like packed. That's when the Thursday pre-party stuff started happening,
taking off.
You know, about a year or so before that, and people started doing this stuff out in the campgrounds. And then before you know it, you know, they decided to put Thursday as a, you know, inside the festival grounds as something that they can come to. And thankfully we've had the chance to play a couple of those because they were absolutely fun, because they're not spread out
right.
watching numerous things. There's a big chunk of people, and it's fun. You just got to win them over and have fun, and so I'm very fortunate for the times that we have played there, and hopefully that's not our last. But if it is, I'm okay.
It's been a good run, and Doug Burgess is my friend, and I'm happy to say that. I want to say I think Doug is one of the best things that has ever happened to Rocklahoma. He utilizes his resources to bring in bands that he and I still love. I think that's kind of where Doug's heart is too. But he's starting to learn about some newer bands and bring them in as well. And he's a treasure, and so glad he's part of Rocklahoma, and so appreciative of all the opportunities he has made possible for us. Yeah. Rick Adams in the house. He says, "Rock on, my friends. Happy Labor Day weekend. Yeah. Rock on."
First Strike, they've played Rocklahoma many times as well.
Yes.
And I've caught a couple of those shows out there, and they're always fun.
Always.
Rick always brings it. I love his voice. I was always a big fan of First Strike when I was a young kid, and bought their album and played it all the time. Just a nightmare. And I got their other album that they put out, which I like as well. So
he's a rock star for sure.
They played it many times.
Yeah, we got Catherine Allen. She's saying, "Preach it, sister." Thank you, girl. I'm just trying to spread love and positivity while we still have time to do so. Tim D in the house. How you doing, bud? Harold Hibbert is watching. Yes, Doug is a legend, Catherine. There's no doubt about it. So really a fantastic time. And Crimson Love, this is the last thing I'll say, and then we can move on to another topic. But Crimson Love played before us, and, young, energetic. Anytime at our age, you look and you see the young kids still rocking, and, they're playing Rat and stuff. It's like you're so appreciative that they appreciate that era of music, and they're kind of carrying that torch on. I thought they sounded fantastic and brought the energy big time, and wish those guys a lot of success. Definitely. Yeah. Well, should we move on to our next topic?
Sure. Micah Parsons, right?
You want to get into that next?
Sure. Why not?
Oh, man. Well, so this...
talk about Rocklahoma, before we even get on the stage, then we get the, you can't do that, buddy.
Oh, Vincent.
He needs to get on.
Oh, boy. That's the first Vincent sighting. Why don't you get up there on the cat cam, buddy, with your brother? Mm-hmm. Yeah, anyway, so carry on. We were talking about...
Yeah, so then, you get the breaking news that Micah Parsons gets traded from the Cowboys to Green Bay Packers. Congratulations, Green Bay Packers. That's... And he's an extraordinary player, and I hated to see him lose. I had mixed feelings, especially right away. I was sad and bummed. I felt like our return is our return. I felt like we could have at least somehow got one more first-round pick to at least make it winnable. But as the days went on, I decided, I was ready for him. The way he treated this whole free agency thing was just bullshit to begin with.
Yep.
I thought it was childish the way he handled a lot of stuff. And he's just not a grown up. He's not, I've never seen him as a leader. He's a great player, but he has a lot of flaws. And the guy that they brought in, Kenny,
he's a leader, from what I can tell.
The way he talks is exactly who I want to hear from. Mm-hmm. He talks like a professional. Mm-hmm. He's there to ball. He's not whining and crying about all this stuff. He's not throwing up a stupid podcast like ours, But
well, we're not being paid $188 million. It's okay if we want to do a podcast. So.
And that's the thing. It's like, he wanted all this amount, and just the way he was handling it all, it's just, I'm okay. I'm okay with it now. I like the guy we got in. I like the picks. And I'm excited to see what we're going to do with that in the next year or two. I'm not like burning jerseys or anything at this point. I'm okay with how it went down. I would have liked to had, because you have to think about the guy that we got, their defensive tackle, right? Kenny.
Yeah.
what's his first name?
You know, I knew I was going to blank. Kenny Clark
Kenny
is his
Clark.
name. Yep.
Kenny Clark. We don't have to pay for him. So I mean, it's like only a little bit amount
this year.
It's almost like a freebie,
almost
Pro Bowler.
Yeah.
And so they're going to have to eat that cap space. What do they call it? The empty
dead cap space.
Dead cap space.
Yep.
And so plus two first rounders. I would have liked a running back to go with that, or a corner, or both.
So pause. Would you rather have had another pick, a third
Yes.
pick, or would you rather have had another player and the 2 picks? Because there's both sentiments out there.
If it was a proven player, probably the player, but I like picks too.
Because we need
rounders.
We need a corner and we need a running back. I guess we need a running back.
I thought we would at least get like a second rounder to go with those.
Yeah.
And maybe a second and a fourth or something. But 3 first rounders would have been significantly better.
I think that's the one sour, well, not the one, but one of the sour things about the trade is that we didn't get enough. But I am absolutely 100% in favor of this trade. And
they can turn him down. They can trade down.
Yeah.
And get better picks for the next year.
This is what did it for me, man. You know, we've been arguing and fighting about the contract all year, dragging on, drama. When I saw this, and then I saw this, that's the wrong picture, but him walking down the hallway eating his nachos.
Which, hey, they have delicious nachos. I've had them, and they're really good. So I don't fault him for wanting the nachos.
It's all about timing. It's all about timing.
Have you ever
This was
seen
bad
guys,
timing.
like in game, ask a fan for their hot dog. They'll give them a hot dog. They'll eat a hot dog on the
No,
side.
I've never seen that.
It's awesome.
Does that happen? Will you sign my hot dog?
No, they'll ask for a hot dog. They're hungry. You know, they're big guys.
Well, I think we have gotten rid of an overpaid distraction that was starting to really kind of tear at the fabric of the locker room. You know, they don't talk about it as much when the guy's there, but the minute he's out, then the truth starts bubbling to the surface. And come to find out, you know, a lot of people had problems with his podcast. They felt that it was, you know, kind of an indicator of maybe Micah's mind isn't prioritizing what it should be prioritizing right now, watching game film after they get thumped by the Lions. You know, 2 days later, he's hamming it up with one of the Eagles guys. It just, I don't know. I was weary of Micah before this even happened. And I know he's a generational talent. He's probably going to go up there and do good things. Maybe. We'll see how the cold weather treats him, how he can react to that. Maybe he'll be just fine. But I felt like for once in a long, long time, Jerry Jones made a good decision based on the well-being of the future of the team.
Well, you have to understand, I'm a firm believer that stars are for the offense and depth for the defense. Now we have ammunition to make our defense with depth, you know. Solid players all around instead of all of our chips in on one guy. And, you know, you can make stars out of the offense. You know, you got your CeeDee Lambs and and of course we'll find out. Now we have something to play with if Dak doesn't perform. We now have
some space in the cap.
We have some ways, and we saved a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we can put that towards some other things. I'm okay with it.
Me too. Like more than okay. It got to the point where I was wanting it to happen. And it's funny, like we found out at Rocklahoma and we got all upset at first. You know, it's like, wow, this really actually went down. I can't believe we did this. And that, you know,
only because I thought we got fleeced, but then after I kind of started thinking about it, it's okay.
It is okay.
We like I said, we can trade down and we can get more with that stuff.
Yeah, I just, you know, and you and I said this to each other. What have the Cowboys done in the last 4 years while we've had Micah?
Nothing. he hasn't helped us do anything. He can't stop the run. Now we have a guy in there that will stop the run, and that's one thing. And I feel like we have guys that could fill in the spots now where Mike is no longer and do a pretty good job. And on top of that, have someone to stop the run. I don't feel like we're a playoff team.
Nope. We weren't going to be one anyway,
but
with or without him.
If they start winning some games and shock the world, I'm all for it.
Hey, yeah.
Anything can happen. For
sure. Do we want to take a look at Micah's celebration video, or have we beat that dead horse into the ground? Yeah, I mean, again,
go Pack, go, right?
Again, I mean, this just made me say, see ya, dude.
He got paid the big bucks.
That back looks pretty good, doesn't it? Yeah, so,
Someone who was saying he had a hurt back and he couldn't play. I mean, he was going to try to screw them over regardless, so we had to do something.
Yeah.
And the guy's a character, and he's having fun with his new money. And
why not?
Even though he said money's not the final... What did he say, that money wasn't the issue?
Well, yeah. I mean, he said a lot of stuff, but, in the end, egos resulted in a split.
And congratulate him. He got the money, so
sure,
good on him.
Sure. See you, Micah.
Yeah. We have some college that just started. We have some college games. The Sooners played yesterday.
Yes, they did.
And, speaking of Dak Prescott, and then he's got, I say he's on a 1 year trial here. Let's see what he does, because are they going to bring Arch Manning?
Let's get into that in a minute.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. So let's talk, like you said, let's talk about the Sooners having a 35-3 victory. Now, granted, this is one of those cream puffs on their schedule. Now, when they first came out, we were nervous because they sputtered on the first couple of drives.
Yeah, that fumble.
It wasn't it wasn't looking real good. But then they turned on the Jets and ended up in a 35-3 convincing victory over the Illinois State Redbirds. And John Mateer, wow, junior quarterback, his first game with OU, he passed for 392 yards and 3 touchdowns in a record-setting first game at OU. And we beat Illinois State 35-3. Now, here's the really neat thing about Mateer. So he set a school record for the most yards passing in an Oklahoma debut, surpassing Baker Mayfield's 388 yards against Akron in 2015. Let me take a quick look at his stats. So his quarterback rating last night was 191.4, completion rate of 81.1%, passing yards 392, 3 touchdowns. He did have an interception. The ball kind of got away from him. He said he's going to be taking a look at the film.
He was pass happy.
I like this guy, man. So, okay, let me just be brutally honest. We are primarily NFL fans, and a little more focused on the NFL. We do watch OU. We enjoy OU a lot. The Sooners, if I'm going to root for a team, that's who I'm rooting for. Scott's from Ohio, so he's kind of an Ohio State / OU guy. But we checked out some footage on John Mateer this morning. I'm so impressed with his maturity. He walked up and did a press conference after the game. Really good head on his shoulders, really mature, saying all the right things that you'd want to hear a leader say, taking the blame for some of the shortfalls that the team did have. I really like the guy, and I'm really expecting a good year. Granted, their schedule is about to get a whole lot tougher. Let's take a look at what they got coming up here. So, yeah, next week, this is a true test. Next week, Michigan, number 14.
Boom.
And I think that's at OU. I think OU's the home team there. But that will be a real test. And then, games coming up against Temple, Auburn, Kent State, and then OU, Texas, Saturday, October 11th. That's always a favorite. So it's going to be super interesting to see how they do over the year, but I was really, really impressed with what I saw last night.
Yeah.
It was an exciting game for sure. We got to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and take some of it in, which
that was cool. And
was.
I thought John, was fantastic. I mean, in that game, of course, like you said, it's a tomato can, but shit. I mean, 3 touchdowns. The one interception kind of got away from him.
Yeah,
maybe got away. The wide receiver was kind of out of position on that. I'm not sure exactly. They'll have to look at the.
He said they weren't on the same page, so yeah. I think the guy broke one way and John threw it the other. But
he attempted 37 and completed 30. I mean, he was throwing all over the place. And
that's pretty good.
He also ran. He also ran pretty well. I mean, he ran in for a touchdown and he threw for 1. So he threw for 3 and ran in for 1.
Mm-hmm. Not bad at all. And I'm really expecting a good year for him. Really neat to see. You always have that fear. We had some teams lay an egg yesterday. Some top ranked teams. We saw Alabama got beat, and then of course number 1 Texas falls to Ohio State, which I never
understand that. Like, how can you just go, okay, yeah, they're number 1 when they haven't done anything? How can you just come out and say they're going to be number 1?
Maybe some of the folks who watch a little more college ball can educate us on that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they can. I don't know how the rankings are done. I'm assuming these players are assigned certain talent ratings. I don't know, but yeah, I've always kind of wondered that too. How do you predetermined rankings before the year starts? Maybe one of you guys can educate us on that. We're not quite sure how all that works, but really, really happy to see the Sooners get off to a good, solid start yesterday.
Yeah.
That was very, very nice to see.
Yeah, and they, like you said, the number 1 Texas, they did lose to Ohio State. I thought Ohio State looked, at times, 2 tough teams going against each other. And so you can't, it's hard to judge, like, if they're 2 good teams, well, they didn't play well. Well, the reason why they didn't play well is because they had a tough team to play against. Mm-hmm. So, neither one of them, I felt, played extraordinary. Arch Manning, he was horrible. I think he had like 35 yards like in the first half or something like that.
Yeah, it was real low.
He stepped it up in the second half, but if he continues to play like this, there's no need for him to be the first number 1 pick. There's nothing for everyone to be crying about. And I don't know. He may stay in this league for a couple more years. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be ready to jump into the NFL. He makes plenty of money in college, and so I don't know. But he's got to get better. That's for sure.
So from what I've heard, and again, there are people that might see this that are way more educated on this than I am, but I believe Arch has already said he wants the college experience, so I don't expect him to come out next year. I know everybody's already pining for him, and we want to get him on our NFL team, but obviously, there's a lot of pressure on him. I heard that he's going to make like $6.9 million this year as a college player. That is insane. That college football has changed so much from when you and I were growing up. Remember how they'd get in trouble if they took pizza money.
Well, absolutely. And think about some of these players who generally may not think they have a future in the NFL, and they just say, well, I'm not going to risk that just yet. I'm going to go ahead and stay in college since I'm doing well in college and just make some pretty good money here. And I mean, we may start seeing where players don't even come into to the NFL until 3 or 4 years after they're done with their college.
Yeah, it's hard to say, but he definitely there was a lot of pressure on him. He did not have the greatest showing yesterday, but hopefully things will straighten out. Now let's kind of tie these 2 topics together. You pointed out to me that there was a cool video that got put up by. Anytime Scott and I want just straight to the point, legitimate. There are a million Dallas Cowboys podcasters out there.
A lot of haters,
but just, some guys that they just stream all the time and talk about whatever. But when we want the straight news, to the point, we go to Mike Fisher, and let me give him a shout out. We're going to borrow some of his content. So any of you Cowboy fans, if you haven't subscribed to Mike Fisher on YouTube, go to Fish Sports Cowboys and subscribe to his channel. But this kind of ties in our conversation with the Dallas Cowboys and Arch Manning, because, the Cowboys fans out there, they're all like, they just want to be done with Dak. The Dak experience is over. They're tired of it. They all want Arch Manning, except yesterday may have put a little bit of a temper on that. So let's listen to some input from Mike Fisher about dumping Dak and drafting Arch, and where things stand with that right now. Let's check it out.
Dump Dak and draft Arch. That seems to be the secret conspiracy plan that some people are putting forth. Arch may have put the brakes on that a little bit in this weekend's Longhorns loss at Ohio State, but the idea is still going to generate out there because he's Arch and he's Dak, and that's the Longhorns, and this is the Cowboys. Mike Fisher reporting from the Star in Frisco. This idea has been around for a little while now. There's 4 problems with it that we will dissect here. Problem number 1, dump Dak. Contractually, financially, you really can't do that for another 2 years. If you dump Dak next spring, for instance, in one form, it could cost you $130 million in cap room. That's just suicide in terms of roster building and cap room. Issue number 2, now the Cowboys, because of the Micah Parsons trade, have their 4 first-round picks in the next 2 years. That's great. You can do some things with that, and Jerry and Steven are really pumping up this idea that they're going to make some moves, and you can. But that doesn't guarantee you that you get to have the first pick in the draft, not even close. For instance, Cleveland Browns, let's say the Browns are bad again, win 3 games, get the first overall pick in the draft, and Arch Manning is good, great, the next Aikman, they're not trading him to Dallas, they're drafting him. Problem number 3, we don't know that Arch Manning's coming out of UT. He spent a lot of time there building to this point. He makes a lot of money staying in college. There's some people, including his grandfather, that think he's going to enjoy the college experience and stay there 2 years. So he might not be available in the draft for years. You're saying the Cowboys have this secret plot to draft him way down the line? That doesn't make any sense. And then item 4, and we saw again yesterday, Arch Manning. If you took Manning off the back of his jersey and didn't realize how big he is, how tall he is, you watch that game going, I don't know, he looks pretty mediocre to me. Through the first 3 quarters and change, he has 38 passing yards, and they don't score. And this is the next Aikman or the next Peyton or whatever. So there's a lot of reason to tap the brakes on the idea of Arch Manning being a future Cowboy and on the idea of Dak Prescott being an ex-Cowboy anytime soon. Much more for you from inside the Star. We'll visit with Schottenheimer here on this Sunday as we get ready for Cowboys at Eagles on Thursday, and we'll be on the practice field as well. Come get us by following here. I'm Mike Fisher with the Cowboys. Fish out.
Yeah. We love that guy. Again, that's at Fish Sports Cowboys on YouTube. He absolutely is, in my opinion, the top Dallas Cowboys podcaster out there.
And Thursday's game is going to be significant, not only for the Cowboys, but also for the Eagles. I mean, they want to prove that they weren't just a flop, or a fluke. They're going to come out and take it to them. And Dallas, they have a lot to prove. They have got to come out and try to win this game and shock the world. So they're a 7-point underdog at this time, and it's going to be one hell of a night. And
it will.
I wonder if we should stream while it's going on. But
stream our misery. Well, let's maybe contemplate that. Maybe we can get some other Cowboy fans in here with us to watch along. Let's cut to some viewer comments. Jean Matthews, she's a good friend of ours. She's followed the band for a lot of years, and she has chimed in with a comment here. Another subject, she says, unexpectedly Monday night, I finished business in St. Louis and was at the ticket booth 2 minutes before the Cardinals game time. It was a Monday night game, and their record is not impressive, but I was floored by the number of empty seats. Yes, girl. Huge surprise. It was one of the best baseball games I've ever watched. That is something, I think we've commented about it before on here, how sad it is to see this once great franchise who would pack out the stadium every single night, and it's like a ghost town and it just shows that the record has a lot to do with it. You also have a theory. You think St. Louis just needs to get some stars on their team.
Well, they have to get some stars. I think once they bring in the new general manager, the new office, and they start making changes. I don't know if they make a change at manager or not. They may keep Ollie, but more than likely they want to bring in their own people. They want to bring in their own. But yeah, I mean, the owner said some things that really pissed off a lot of people. Here's my take. If you want to stand up against your team to prove a point, you have that right. You don't have to pay for tickets. You don't have to buy merchandise. You don't have to go to the games. You don't have to turn it on at your house, give ratings to them. You don't have to do any of that stuff. You can protest and until they make some changes. Sometimes that works, but also the flip side of that is sometimes they move away, and because they're no longer saw it. I mean, we're talking about record franchise who have historically have been one of the top attendance in the league
for years,
and a huge fan base, and they were always considered the baseball fans, what do they call them, I forget.
Well, greatest fans in baseball.
The greatest fans in baseball. But now you've turned on them, and because you feel like they've turned on you, and they're not bringing in these people, and they're not spending money, and they're not bringing in these great players. But there's only been a couple of years that they've had some poor seasons, just two.
Right.
And you've already turned on them. So if it continues, and if they move, you can only blame yourself.
I just can't even fathom a world where the St. Louis Cardinals move. I can't fathom that.
Well, they can go to Vegas, they can go wherever.
Now, what did the owner say to piss people off?
Or I'm sorry. He said something about like just basically he thought it was just silly that not showing up to the games. He's like, basically just kind of like smirked it off, like we can't do that, something. And they're like, oh yeah, we can.
Huh.
So
I did not know that.
Hey.
I just knew that it's been a very bare looking year, and again, we live in an instant gratification world. If people aren't getting what they want, they move on pretty quickly.
I mean, they're sitting fourth in the Central Division. Brewers still up there, and Cubs, and they're playing the Reds right now. The Reds are beating them 5-4.
Yeah.
I don't want them to win any more games. I want them to go all the way down, tank it. Let's see if we can get another good draft pick. I think that we have some good pieces in our farm system. I think the people who we drafted this year and people who we're waiting to bring on, I still feel like we have some good pieces that are going to help us in the long run. And let's see what this new management will turn things around for them. Let's hopefully
I hope so.
The fans will come back around and fill the seats and get back into the baseball.
You think they're going to keep Ollie or let him go?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
We'll know here in October?
Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, there's 17 back.
Maybe September.
Wow.
We'll know.
17 games back. Cubbies are going to take the division this year, it looks like. Wow, that's incredible. Well, yeah.
No, it's the Brewers.
Oh, sorry. Oh, there they are. You didn't. Okay. Wow. The Brewers are going to take it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cubs are 6.5 back of the Brewers. Wow.
Yeah. And the Dodgers and the Padres they're fighting for that top spot. And it looks like the Phillies are doing well over there. Blue Jays and the Yankees are neck and neck basically, and they got the Red Sox right behind them. Tigers basically are going to win the Central there, and the Astros and the Mariners are fighting neck and neck there, only 3 games back of the Astros. So, yeah, cool.
Well, a lot of sports talk, a little bit of rock talk. That's good stuff. What else you got? You fixed our ice maker last night, and I want to say thank you for that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's been fixing a lot of crap lately around here, so hopefully stuff will stop breaking for us pretty soon. That would be nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Got the little mini fridge, the leftover mini fridge in the back here too.
Yeah.
Holding some cool drinks for
So
us.
as far as the NFL coming this weekend, not this week, but next weekend, we have some pretty cool games. Of course, on Thursday night we have the Cowboys and the Eagles. That's going to be a really fun game to watch. Tough and one of those nervous games. Chiefs and Chargers.
Friday night.
Yeah, that's Friday
Wow.
night. So we will have a Friday night game. September 5th, the Chiefs are at the Chargers. And those two will always have good games. And then, of course, Sundays. September 7th, you got Cardinals and Saints, the Panthers and Jags, the Bucks and Falcons, Steelers at the Jets. We have the Bengals at Cleveland Browns at noon, Dolphins, Colts, Raiders, Patriots, the Giants and the Commanders. That will be a fun game.
Yeah, it will.
Titans, Broncos, Niners and the Seahawks, Lions and Packers will be that will be fun.
Micah's debut.
Will it be?
I'm assuming.
I don't know.
I'm assuming.
Is he even? I don't even know if he's in game shape, to be honest with you. Texans, Rams, and Sunday night will be Ravens at Buffalo Bills. That will be a fun game. And then our first Monday night football of the year is the Vikings at Chicago Bears.
The Bears. Wow. I'm ready, man. It's we love the summer. We love swimming in the pool and running around doing fun stuff. But the nice thing about when you're a sports fan, boy, the fall and winter, you hunker down and you get your sports on, and it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun, definitely. What else? Anything?
Man, I just wanted to say thanks to all your support for those who came out and watched our band, not only at River Spirit. Thank you. That was another great show.
Yes.
But Rocklahoma as well. And just thank you for just hitting like and following us on social media, Facebook, and just hitting like on some of the pictures I may post and stuff like that. Just I appreciate it. And we'll see you guys. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend. It's Sunday. It feels like a Saturday. Go out and have some fun. And we love you guys, and we appreciate you.
Real quick before we go, your fantasy team, how you feeling about it?
I don't know. I did draft that last year, or I'm sorry, a couple weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Maybe was last week, wasn't it? On your birthday.
Yeah.
So let me pull up my team here. I had my phone with me, and then I guess I left it in the other room.
I think your team is a little bit better than maybe what you think. I mean, poor guy, he gets the last draft pick. Now it is a snake draft, which means he out of 12 teams, Scott had the number 12 pick, but then it snakes back around, so he has the number 13th pick as well. So he made some really good picks. I mean, but of course all the top guys get snatched up quick, and
I had to go with a running back. I believe that was my first one, my first pick, or was it a receiver? I had Neighbors. I got him, and we added 2 people to play. So now normally it was a 10-team league, and now it's a 12. So that thins it out even more so. And so I think I don't even remember my first pick. I wish I would have brought my phone in here for this.
Go grab it. Go grab it. This doesn't have to be a professional operation.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you if I could go pee about 15 minutes ago, but I'm trying to hold it because I just need to.
Well, I could just talk about it.
Yeah.
My first pick was, I ended up getting my first pick. Who was a running back, wasn't it?
I wish it. Man, go get your phone.
Right.
I'm going to hold it down. Well, and there's Stacy Vance. Stacy Vance is in the house. Stacy, how's your weekend going? What have you done this weekend? Chime in here. Give us some chat material and tell us what the weekend has held for you so far. While we're waiting on Scott, I will Charlie has moved. He was perfectly centered, and now he has rolled himself over into the top of the frame, leaving cat hair all in the trail behind him. That bedspread is so nasty, and one of these days we'll wash it. But that's gross, Charlie. We love you, though. Hey, he's back. Okay, so you talk about, we're going to really get unprofessional. I want you to talk to people about your lineup, and I'll be right back. I can't wait any longer.
Well, yeah, it was McCaffrey. So, there's so many people that are just saying that he's not going to do well. His injuries from last year and just injuries overall, he just didn't look like he was going to be a top draft pick this year. But a lot of other people are saying that he's doing really well, and so I'm hopeful that McCaffrey for the 49ers will do well for me on my Yahoo fantasy draft. And then I got Neighbors for the New York Giants, great receiver. I hope he does well. I actually had him last year. Kyren Williams from the Rams. I did get McBride, Arizona tight end. So he's going to do well. Olav from the New Orleans Saints is my other receiver.
Sounds like a soap bar.
Devonta Smith from the Eagles. So if the Eagles score on the Cowboys, I hope it's Smith. That's the only thing about having a fantasy team, and is if your real team loses, hopefully like they get beat by the guys on your fantasy.
That's the hope.
That's
for
the
sure.
Twisted thing about doing fantasy is it ruins your love for, like, oh man, he just ran a 90-yard touchdown, but hey, he's on my fantasy team, so I can't get too mad about that.
Yeah, it is definitely a twisted way to watch football.
But I have like a couple of other auto draft leagues that I'm in, and I auto draft pretty well. On one of them, I actually have Daniels as my quarterback, and I have Gibbs as I have George Pickens and Gibbs and Derrick Henry as my running back. So my auto draft leagues, I got Kittle as my tight end. Mm-hmm. So those actually, I drafted better in those leagues than I did my main one. And I hope I do well in all of them, but we'll see.
I'm just sitting here digesting what you've just told me, and I didn't know. Are you in more than one league this year?
Auto draft leagues. Yeah, we always do an auto draft league, which is it's a head to head. We did it last year. It's like we pay like $5. The other one we do $30. It's an auto draft, so I don't have to draft. It just automatically drafts for you. Okay. So
we haven't talked much about that one. So you're
because we've been doing Rocklahoma, so I haven't had time when it drafted. I was elsewhere.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to catch up with you after the show on that. That excites me. I had forgotten about your auto draft.
So next week the Sooners has the Michigan, right?
Yes.
What do you say, people out there watching this? OU? Do you think OU is going to beat Michigan?
I say, but we just watched number 1 Texas go down. Of course, it was to number 3, but we watched Alabama go down. That's kind of the beauty of college. It's absolutely anything can happen. I mean, I guess anything can happen in any league, but it seems like with the college kids, it's a little more. You can definitely be surprised from week to week on who pulls the upset. So, yeah, let's hope that we get it done. I'm really, really digging the new quarterback. I think he's a good leader. Sounds like they've got their minds right, which is very important. You got to have a good leader at the helm there, getting the guys to watch the film and commit to the system, as he said. So very, very impressed with his maturity, and I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled the upset. That would be fantastic, actually.
Yeah, I think the OU's quarterback is mature.
Very. Maybe we should call him John Mature.
I love the way he handles the press. He's really down to earth, and he's smart. He kind of gets it. Yeah. And so I'm hopeful that he, just from that first game, he looks like he's going to be NFL ready in no time.
I know.
Hopefully,
he's a junior.
Hopefully he can do something good.
Yeah.
But with them being in the division that they're in,
It's tough.
It's always
man.
good. It's always
Tough.
a mountain to climb, isn't it?
Yeah, but definitely be pulling for the Sooners this year, and all you guys, man, who get into college ball. Best wishes to the Cowboys fans out there.
Who do they have?
Golden Hurricane fans. I don't know. We this is something we probably need to do a little bit better. Is kind of branch out a little bit beyond our favorite teams. Of course, it's our podcast, so we can talk about what we want.
Yeah. Oh.
But no, I mean, seriously, like we want all the area teams to do well for sure. Let's give a shout out to States.
They won.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, well,
good deal.
27. They played UT Martin.
They beat up on that juggernaut UT Martin, just like we beat up on our juggernaut Illinois State.
Yeah,
good for them.
What is that? The Utah Tech or some crap? I don't know.
Who knows, man?
Oklahoma State. So their next game is September 6th, and they have to face the Oregon Ducks, and they're a number 7 seed.
That'll be a tough one.
So that, and then Tulsa, September 19th, Oklahoma State versus Tulsa. So that's,
wow.
And then they have Baylor after that. So
okay.
Yeah. Let's go.
Good stuff. Stacy says her weekend has been great. She says, miss you guys. We need to get together. Stacy, I have an idea. Why don't
we get together tonight?
What?
Today.
Well,
let's go have dinner somewhere.
Come on, girl. I was going to suggest, she is a fabulous cook. I can tell. I look at her pictures of her creations, and my mouth waters. I'm thinking, why can't I have that talent? You should come to the house one night and give me some cooking lessons. Like, bring your top 3 recipes and show me what you do, because I don't have the skill.
Top 3? Well, how about just 1 or 2?
Because she makes all kinds of really good stuff, and then I can't pick one.
That's time consuming, though.
Well, we've got time. We don't have another show till Halloween.
Yeah,
love it.
Well, thank you guys. We really appreciate it. We're going to enjoy the rest of our day, and hope you do the same. Thank you for everything. Reese Bear in the house. Boomer, baby. We did it. All right. Have a great week. We'll be back on here jiving at some point. Maybe later today if we get too bored. Who knows? Anyway, you guys take care. Have a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.